Good morning. This is Faith in Our Hometown, brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin. And now, here's your host, Father Jay Friedel.
Good morning and welcome to another Sunday of Faith in Our Hometown. We're glad you joined us this Sunday morning. As we get closer and closer to the holiday seasons, sometimes we have these conversations with each other about how do we do the most good for the most amount of people, and how do we do that in a way that kind of crosses all of our denominational and territorial lines. Sometimes there are cooperative groups that help us to do those things. One of those groups is the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. And so we'll be talking to Pete Ramsour, who is the foundation coordinator, about that this morning. And we are going to just settle back and have that conversation. But if in the meantime, go get yourself a cup of coffee and settle in. We're going to be right back after this Mercy Minute, so don't go away. And we'll be talking again about Community Foundation of the Ozarks.
I have arthritis in my knees, and it was just excruciating. I wish I would have done something sooner. I found myself not able to go up and down stairs, which is bad because we realized we were going to have to sell our house. We decided just to take the worst one first, and we did. I was back to work in 6 weeks. 6 months later, I had surgery on the second one, and I'm back to work in 5 weeks. And I was a little scared, a little apprehensive, even though I knew everything that was going to happen. But I was just impressed. Life is short, and I waited. I think I waited too long.
Well, again, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us for another Sunday of Faith in Our Hometown. Christmas is right around the corner. One of those great sentiments of Christmas is peace on earth, goodwill to all. And one of those groups that tries to help us to focus a little bit on that good for all would be a group like Community Foundation of the Ozarks. So my guest this morning, Pete Ramsour, who's the Foundation Coordinator. So Pete, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's talk about Community Foundation of the Ozarks.
Well, thank you for inviting me today, Father Jay. I've lived in Joplin all my life, other than 4 years away at college, and Joplin's my hometown. Married, I have 3 children, all are married, and I have 6 beautiful grandchildren. So
there you go.
I had been retired for about 3 years, and this opportunity came up, and it just felt like the right thing to do.
Well, and again, for somebody who's grown up in Joplin, has Joplin concerns and all those things at heart, I think it was probably a good fit for you.
It was. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good. Well, tell us a little bit about Community Foundation of the Ozarks and how that works.
Well, Community Foundation of the Ozarks is based out of Springfield, started in 1973. In 1988, they had their first affiliate, which is NICSA. And now they have 49 affiliates, and the Joplin Regional Community Foundation is one of them, 49.
And probably one of the larger ones at that.
Well, we have the second most dollars worth of funds under our umbrella, and the third most funds, and we intend to be number one before long in both.
Well, there you go. I don't mind, I don't mind going toe to toe with Springfield and passing them up once in a while.
Well, now they're not an affiliate.
Oh, they're the big good.
Now the 49 affiliates go from Joplin to Cape Girardeau, from West Plains to Lake of the Ozarks.
Okay.
Very small ones up to larger ones. We have a little over $6 million under our umbrella, and we have about 90 funds. I think 88 funds right now.
Okay, so how does that work? So you've got these 88 funds, but yet you're one community foundation. How does all that work?
Well, it all goes through the Community Foundation of the Ozarks offices in Springfield. We don't even have a bank account here in Joplin. Everything goes to Springfield. They have 3,200 funds, and they manage about 287 million, I believe it is right now. It's a moving target. They're pushing for 300 million. There's, I believe, $8.5 billion in community foundations throughout the United States.
Wow.
Assets under management. And basically what we do is we help both individuals, family funds, scholarship funds, churches, And agency partners are our larger ones, and they're very common in Joplin. We have about 30 of those, everything from Cross Lines to Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Water Gardens, the Y, you name it, Love and Grace. As I say, we have about 30, and they're all very prominent in the community. We have the community clinic. They've just come aboard with us this spring, and they're just doing wonderful things too. So.
Well, so in other words, for our viewers, these are a lot of the different agencies and things that we actually have had guests from all those agencies on the show,
Right.
kind of explaining to you all what they do. So if, for example, you've made donations to some of those agencies, sometimes the money that's going to be invested or used by some of that group to do some of their things then would go through the foundation, perhaps?
Certainly, yes. And as an example, we ran about $24 million through the Community Foundation to help fund the building of the medical university here in town. We're currently working with Connect to Culture. They have a $16 million capital fund going, and that's going through the Community Foundation.
Now, would all the not like all the operating funds? So this would be more like the investments.
Well, yes, they're investments, and basically we have two types of funds. We have one that's called a capacity fund. Every dollar that goes in can come out. We also then have an endowed type fund. And endowment funds, the principal must remain. You can use the income and the interest off of those funds, but that's for long-term sustainability.
Right.
I usually encourage most of our new agency partners that come along, start a capacity fund till you get comfortable with us, and as you grow, then you start visiting with some of your donors about some long-term possibilities and sustainabilities to keep your organization operating 25 and 50 years down the line.
Long down the road, right?
Yes.
And I think that's certainly from a church point of view. I mean, I think many of our churches have to do the same thing. We got some funds on deposit somewhere, that are just that we only draw the interest off of, but there are others, and the great majority of them are obviously those that we need for operating expenses every year, and the agencies in the area are the same way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how does that work then? So a group decides they want to hitch their wagon to the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and so.
And of course, we're the Joplin Regional Community Foundation, which is just an affiliate, but we have our own local board of 13 great hardworking volunteers. We help facilitate the money for the use of whatever group it is, and then the offices in Springfield, whether it's a $5 check or a $5 million check, we send a thank you acknowledgement for the gift and an IRS tax deductibility receipt. Then we also notify, whether it's an agency partner or other group, of those funds. They have access to who gave money and where their money was spent online in what we call Donor Central. Very easy. If I can use it, anybody can use it, trust me. Very simple. Yeah. But one thing you have to remember, of the $287 million that CFO is managing, every dollar is a charitable dollar. And they take that responsibility seriously.
Which is good.
We're not a big Wall Street investment firm. We have a group out of New Hampshire called Prime Buckholz and Associates, and they manage the CFO's funds. And we had a bidding process through and interviewed 12 different agencies, and Prime
they were the
Buckholz
ones came out on top.
Came on top, and they've done very well for us.
So, in other words, you can collect monies for all those different agencies through the foundation.
Correct.
Or through, you're part of the foundation, and then all those agencies and everything can tap into those funds as needed.
Yes.
Through you. Okay.
And basically, as long as it's an IRS approved expenditure, the agency partner or the individual, we have a lot of family funds, they choose where their dollars go. And with the tax law change in December of last year, a family donor-directed fund has become a little more popular. A lot of people are doing what they call bundling. They'll put their money in year one, but it's enough money to cover year 1 and 2. So you take the itemized deduction in year 1, you take the standard deduction in year 2, itemized in year 3, and so on. But what you put in year 1 is a larger amount of money, and then you make your charitable contributions for 2 years with that one, and it certainly saves the individual some tax issues.
Yeah, I know that, Stephen, is at the parish, same thing has kind of happened. Some folks recently retired and trying to figure out how to manage those things. All of a sudden, it's now going into one of those situations. So they'll always be calling and saying, oh, look for this, because it's coming, and, and all those kinds of things.
Exactly
And
the same thing.
And if they've got good accountants and good, people to advise them, then they get the benefit, tax-wise. But the churches or the agencies are the recipients of a lot of good will that kind of goes a long way, to take care of other people.
One thing to really keep in mind, Father Jay, is the way the stock market's moved the last couple of years. A gift of appreciated stock is a tremendous win-win for both the charity and the individual. The individual gives appreciated stock, and they pay no capital gains on it and get the full value of the deduction, and the recipient organization gets the full value of the stock instead of a reduced value, minus the taxes and so on.
Yeah.
So that's been a really great vehicle the last year or two. A lot of people have been donating appreciated stock, and it's been a great deal.
And it is a win-win for everybody. I know that especially last year, we all of a sudden we get a phone call from our office in Springfield that says you're going to be getting a gift because somebody just brought that to us, and so you'll be receiving a check, and it's just like, well, Merry Christmas. And it's just like, because, and again, those are those things that a lot of churches or agencies can use, that, they had a project or they had a dream, and then all of a sudden when it's just a gift that comes from out of the blue like that, I mean, it's much easier to put those things toward that. You already got your operating expenses and everything taken care of, and now all of a sudden you've got this great gift that's going to give you a chance to kind of push your dream forward in a particular way, which is kind of fun.
Another thing we like to encourage, especially our agency partners, but any charitable organization, is planned giving. You don't get that dollar immediately.
Right.
But if you have some people, as they're doing their estate planning with their financial planners, their attorneys, and so on, just ask them to remember your organization at the time of their death. And we can set everything up and deal with their financial planners and their attorneys to make it a very seamless, easy. I've been told it's like a 2-page document. It's literally all you do. It
can work.
And that's a good way to remember your favorite charity
at that time
when you're gone.
Yeah. Well, my guest this morning is Pete Ramsour, and we've been talking about the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and so especially the Joplin area, and we'll talk a little bit more about what the excitement things going on in Joplin in this way, but we're going to be right back after a real quick break. This is Faith in Our Hometown. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
You're watching Faith in Our Hometown on KSN TV, brought to you as a community service of Mercy Hospital, Joplin.
So again, thanks for staying with us on this couple days before Christmas. Again, we're talking about Community Foundation of the Ozarks, the Joplin area affiliate of the Community Foundation, and talking a little bit about how sometimes people can use those gifts to help further the dreams or the visions of a particular agency or even a particular church or whatever a family wants to do. The Community Foundation of the Ozarks can help to do that. Now, you were talking a little bit before when we were getting ready for the show about some of the ways that you were trying to set up some general giving funds even within the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, and you guys have kind of blown that out of the water.
Well, we handled close to $40 million shortly after the tornado for about 3 years. Well, the last 3 years, we as a Joplin local board have only had about $20,000 a year available to us. Now we decided in January, I mean literally this was a thought and a dream in January, and today we're looking, we started this new organization within the Joplin Regional Community Foundation called our Philanthropic Society. Our goal the first year was 15 members and $30,000, and right now we have 47 members and we're at 112,000, I think.
That's phenomenal.
So every dollar that we bring in through the Philanthropic Society will stay in Joplin, Webb City, Carl Junction, and it will be decided by our volunteer board of 13 local members.
So these are groups and donors that have just basically said to the community foundation for the Joplin area, okay, just to say we want to give you some money that can then be applied, you know, for charitable causes.
Well,
and then this board is going to determine how to hand that out.
Right. More specifically, we've asked couples to give us $2,500 a year, individuals $2,000 a year, and have assured them that every dollar will be granted within the Joplin region. And we have been working with One Joplin to kind of figure out, you know, what are the biggest needs in Joplin. We got the dubious distinction of being the most unhealthy county in the state of Missouri a few months ago.
That's a whole different show, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure out what to do with that soon enough. But yeah.
We are going to spend most of this money in the first year towards better health, whether it be education, actually providing foods. You know, we have a lot of young students that just don't eat well, don't eat very healthily.
Right.
You know, so we're going to spend the bulk of that first year trying to address the health issue in Joplin.
Yeah.
So I think that's a very good start for this philanthropic society.
Yeah. And I know that, you know, several of the organizations, you know, Freeman Mercy, you know, our sponsor here for the show, but I mean, they've been working on trying to move the needle on several health issues that they've also assessed are our primary needs right now. So those conversations are really important. And again, we can't ever let that idea on health off the table, because again, it's something that a lot of people don't often think about, but I mean, that is our future. I mean, you know, if whatever we're doing in the community is not helping us to get healthier and stay healthy, then we are going to wind up shooting ourselves in the foot down the road, because more and more dollars are going to have to go for remedial care once we've been unhealthy and once we've been sick. Then we got to spend the money trying to, you know, fix it.
It's the old ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that was not probably good news for everybody to hear, but at least
No,
it kind
but
of
maybe it was a wake-up call.
maybe, you know, we gotta kind of redouble our efforts in that regard. So, so tell us about some of the different agencies and some of the big dreams that folks now are going to be poised to make some real differences in the next few months.
Well, as I say, we have 30 agencies, and we really don't get into, you know, their operations.
Right.
But as an example, we are helping to facilitate Connect to Cultures big capital campaign to build a new performing arts center and move the Spiva Center for the Arts there to 7th Street in front of Memorial Hall. We are working with Empire Market through the Downtown Joplin Association. They're going to have a capital campaign to enhance the Empire Market over on East 4th Street. Then just generally, there's a lot of exciting things going on. The Boys and Girls Club are having a big expansion. Carl Junction just opened a new fund with us to, they've gotten several grants, and they're going to spend several $100,000 on upgrading the playgrounds at the school. Okay. And the Carl Junction Schools Foundation has been a great affiliate agency partner with us, and we're very excited about everything going on at Carl Junction also.
Good. Well, I look at some of those things, with us being at least the St. Peter's part of my world, being downtown. I keep waiting to see what's going to happen, in that. That with that performing arts center, this ought to be very interesting. There's a few nights out of the year where I can, you can kind of hear the excitement of whatever's going on, but I also hear the excitement, from Youngie Stadium too.
Yeah.
That bounces, for whatever reason, the sound carries and bounces off the church, that when I'm walking in my back door, I get to hear some of that. But it's kind of interesting. It's always exciting in some ways to hear some of the excitement of what goes on, down in the neighborhood.
Well, we say that our main mission and goal is to make the Joplin region a better place to live, work, and raise a family. And all of those are important, and we reach into each one of those aspects of life. And if we can make this a better place, that's what we're trying to do.
Well, and I do. I think that's part of the excitement as we get closer to the holidays. I mean, it's just kind of like, because it is. It's about. It is hopefully about. Not just giving presents or anything like that, but hopefully a little bit of a push as we come to year end to again rededicate ourselves to the common good. And again, that's one of the reasons why we do this show, is because we're trying to kind of lift up. Hoping and that as we raise one boat, all the boats are going to rise. As we get ready to do a holiday season. This is one of those times of the year when people will pay attention to some of those things. So for example, say somebody wants to make a gift for that philanthropic group, or if somebody wants to make a gift or add a foundation or whatever to the Community Foundation of the Ozarks, how would they get in touch with you?
Get in touch with me. My email is cfojoplin@gmail.com, or I think they're going to post my phone number.
So there's the phone number right there on the screen.
Good.
Yeah.
But it's the time of year where not only can you help somebody, but you can help yourself in terms of tax issues.
Right.
And again, that's kind of the three things that CFO does. We help invest and manage money, whether it's an individual or an agency partner. We provide all the backroom, the taxes, services and accounting services, and then we also have educational. We got everything from board development webinars to, and we do live things too occasionally over here. People out of Springfield help us, but it's just to educate the public in maximizing their gift-giving dollar, their charitable dollar, to do the most good.
Yeah. So. And again, I think that's just an important thing to remember this time of the year, that, and this is a time of the year, and I can just speak from this as a local area pastor at 3 different places, that this is a time of the year when we receive gifts from people between now and the end of the year, because they know that there's a time and a place and a benefit to giving, and it's not just for the tax purposes, because it's also a time of the year when people's hearts swell a little bit and say, we shouldn't just be paying attention to ourselves and what's going on with our family, but let's pay attention to some of the other people who need some of our help. And I think that that's one of the blessings of this season that we're in, as we get closer to to Christmas.
Kind of just the calendar. You get to the end of the year and you sit back and you say, I've been blessed. Let me share a little.
Yeah, which is wonderful. And again, I just can't tell you how I've been in Joplin now 12 years, and it's a great community in terms of the way that everybody pulls together and tries to reach out and take care of each other and pay attention to each other. And I think that this is one more opportunity to do that,
We sure hope so.
Yeah. So in terms of dreams for the coming year, you want to set a new goal for your philanthropic?
Well, we have set a limit. We're at the first 100 members we have. That's when we quit. This is not an
ongoing thing?
Well, it goes every year, but once you commit to be in it, then you commit for the long term. And people have been very generous so far, but as far as our goal, it's to raise more money that can be spent in Joplin, Webb City, and Carl Junction, and address the needs that our local board feels are the most urgent. and we don't have to worry about somebody from Springfield telling us where we ought to spend our money, or waiting for manna from heaven to come help.
Right.
Although CFO out of Springfield has been wonderful getting us some extra gifts.
Yeah.
Coming from out of the area.
And all these things that Pete and I are talking about this morning, of course, also apply in our larger viewing area to the other affiliates of the Community Foundation, of the Ozarks.
Carthage,
so
Neosho, Sarcoxy.
Yeah, I mean, all those different areas are also similarly in there. I've been talking with Pete, who is, the Joplin affiliate. But again, those others reach out there. So we've been talking about the Community Foundation of the Ozarks and the great benefit that they are to, the regions that they serve. And in all of those cases, some of that is going to, the beauty of that whole thing is that they can take care of whatever their service regions are, but there's certain plans, of course, that will take care of some of the charitable needs right here in the area. And of course, this affiliate is Joplin, Webb City, and Carl Junction.
Correct.
Okay, so, all right, well, we're going to be right back after this Mercy Minute. Don't go away. We'll be right back to wrap up before we get to the end of today's show.
A new baby changes the world and each of us. The Sisters of Mercy devoted themselves to offering exceptional maternity and delivery care, training generations of nurses to do the same. Mercy continues to answer the same call, to not only care for your baby, but to cherish them too. Mercy, in every era, your life is our life's work. Learn why we serve at mercy.net/legacy. When they discovered there was no hospital, the Sisters of Mercy built one, as they had so many times before, offering healing and hope on the edge of the frontier. Mercy continues to answer the same call, to bring care wherever you or your child need it most. Mercy, in every era, your life is our life's work. Learn why we serve at mercy.net/legacy.
Well, again, here we are a couple days before Christmas, and we're just reminded of taking care of each other. And I think that it's a wonderful thing to be reminded of in our little pre-Christmas show. We do reach out and take care of other people. This is that time of the year when I think we all are feeling a little bit blessed, and because of that, we are at this year-end time being a little bit more generous, just because we have generous hearts, but also because for any of us who pay taxes and get the opportunity to do some of those things, there can be some benefit to doing that at this time of the year. And that's why many of our agencies receive those gifts. So again, I just want to continue to remind all of you to be generous as we approach Christmas. Be generous and loving. I hope that you and your family are blessed with a phenomenal Christmas as we celebrate, for those of us who celebrate Christmas. And if you, even if that's not your holiday or what you celebrate, just know that our wishes for you, that for those of us who do, are truly a time of blessing. Come back and join us next week for Faith in Our Hometown. God bless and Merry Christmas.
Thanks for watching. Faith in Our Hometown can be seen Sunday mornings at 6:30 and 9 a.m. on KSN. Brought to you as a community service and sponsored by Mercy Hospital, Joplin.